Mismor LeDavid, Adonai roi lo echsar. Binot eshe yarbitzeni al memenuchot yanachaleni. Nafshi yishovev, yanacheni v'magle tzedek lema'an shemo. Gam ki helech begetz al mavet, lo hirara ki atai mati. Shiftecha umishantecha hema yanachamuni. Ta'aroch lefanai shulchan neged tzorirai. Dishanta vashemen roshi kosirivaya. Ach tov chesed yirdifuni kol yamei chayai v'shaviti b'veit Adonai le'orech yamim. I've chanted for you the words of our 23rd Psalm. On these most difficult, most painful days, when we are seeking some source of comfort, we often turn to the psalmist. And so I ask you now to recite these words with me. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we will remember him. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we will remember him. In the opening buds and in the rebirth of spring, we will remember him. In the blueness of sky and in the warmth of summer, we will remember him. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we will remember him. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we will remember him. When we are weary and in need of strength, we will remember him. When we are lost and sick at heart, we will remember him. When we have joys we yearn to share, we will remember him. So long as we live, he too will live, for he is now a part of us as we remember Charles Klass. To you, Marge, and to his children, Nicole and Brian, Jennifer and Dave, to his sister, Jossie, his brothers-in-law, Gary, John, and Howard, and sisters-in-law, Gloria, Claire, and Kathy, to all the members of the family, and to so many dear and cherished friends. Sadly, we've come together today to remember, but also to find the strength to celebrate the life of your beloved Charles. We've been taught by our sages that birth is a beginning and death a destination, and life is a journey, from childhood to maturity and from youth to age, from innocence to awareness and ignorance to knowing, from foolishness to discretion and then perhaps to wisdom, from weakness to strength, or strength to weakness and often back again, from health to sickness and back we pray to health again, from offense to forgiveness, from loneliness to love, from joy to gratitude, from pain to compassion, and grief to understanding, from fear to faith, from defeat to defeat to defeat, until looking backward or ahead, we see that victory lies not at some high place along the way, but in having made the journey stage by stage, a sacred pilgrimage. Birth is a beginning and death a destination, and life is a journey, a sacred pilgrimage to life everlasting. Charles's journey began in Cape Town, South Africa in 1949. He was the youngest of 3 children born to Jack and Anne Klass. Charles, along with his sister Jossie and his sister Sandra of blessed memory, grew up in a warm and loving home. Charles had a very happy childhood, and he and his sisters knew their parents to be hard-working people. Charles's parents owned and operated a hotel in Britstown, which was located between Cape Town and Johannesburg. And Charles saw firsthand the merits of an excellent work ethic, and he modeled his work just to be like that of his dad's. An excellent student, Charles attended the South African College High School, also known as SACS. He was also a stellar athlete, competing on the school's rugby team and as a competitor in the boxing ring. It was here at this boarding school where Charles made friendships that would endure throughout his entire life. His buddies would study together, compete on the field together, and play volleyball on the beach together while also enjoying the scenery of young ladies in their bathing suits. And while these dear friends, some may have stayed in South Africa, others moved to lands such as Australia, no matter where they were in the world, they all managed to stay close. In his senior year at SACS, Charles was awarded one of the school's highest honors, the Head Prefect Award, given to a student with both the highest of academic accomplishments along with the finest of athletic skills. Charles just seemed to excel at everything he set his mind to. Following his high school graduation, he matriculated to the University of Cape Town, where he majored in business science. He also became the chairman of the university's club known as RAG, R-A-G, Remember and Give, an organization that raised funds and donated monies to the underprivileged in the community. And under Charles's leadership, you won't be surprised to learn that this organization accomplished record-breaking goals in their fundraising. After graduating from the University of Cape Town, Charles moved to London, where he worked for about 7 years with an affiliate company of the Nestle Corporation. Yesterday, I had the sad privilege of speaking with his sister, Jossie, and she recalled that while her brother lived abroad, he wrote his parents every week. She stated how this simple little act that her brother would do each and every week brought his parents so much joy. The time came when Charles felt he had outgrown the job in London, and he wanted to explore the United States. And so Charles, along with his cousin Raymond, came across the pond to meet relatives in New York and also in Cleveland. While in Cleveland, Charles met up with a cousin, Abe Palunis, of Palunis Oldsmobile. Abe gave Charles and cousin Raymond a car to use so the two could drive from state to state. And when they returned from this great trip back to Ohio, Charles decided that he would live in Cleveland instead of New York, simply because he believed it would be easier to get a green card in Cleveland. And then Charles moved to the Gates Mills Towers. He moved to these apartments, and just moments after signing the lease, he got on the elevator, and in the elevator, it was there where he met the lovely Marge Kellerman. He enthusiastically shared with Marge that he had just signed his lease, and Marge calmly assured him that he would really like the apartment complex. You know, while I sat with Marge and her family yesterday, I said to her, "I bet you were immediately taken with his accent." You fell for the accent, right? And she said, no, I was raised with Hungarian parents. I was used to an accent. She really didn't even notice. While Charles may have been flirting on this little elevator ride, Marge, you weren't going for it. You got off at your floor, and that was that. Until a few months later, when Marge and Charles ran into each other, and he very much wanted to take you out on a date. He gently pursued you, trying to get your last name, figuring out cute ways to find your phone number. And then one weekend, you were out of town, and he slipped a note under your door. It was the sweetest note, and he asked you out. After an 18-month courtship, the two of you married on June 10th, 1982, with Rabbi Philip Horowitz officiating. Marge, together, you and Charles enjoyed life. You enjoyed everything. Movies, going to the theater. You loved to travel, visiting South Africa and Australia and England and Spain and Hungary and the Caribbean. And you were blessed with some incredibly wonderful friends. And you loved being with these friends. You liked Charles' friends, he liked your friends, and in your words you said it was just easy. As you described your beloved husband to me, Marge, you shared that Charles was kind, loving, compassionate, charming, fun, and never one to raise his voice. You even said that he treated everyone so well, even Gerald. Or Gary, but Gerald. And you said of your beloved, he was the real deal. When you and Charles welcomed your daughter Nicole into this world, yours and Charles's world became a brighter place. And years later, when Jen was absorbed into the family, this also filled Charles's heart with so much joy. Nicole and Jen, you described Charles, this dad, this father figure, as a man who was, for you, a role model. He was one who had a great moral compass, and he was the person who always knew the right thing to do. You said he was generous and loyal, and all these attributes, you said, are the same qualities that the two of you see in your beloveds, in Brian and in Dave. The qualities of kindness and generosity and the ability to think logically. In mentioning kindness and compassion, I have to share with all of you, although I think many, if not all of you, already know. There is kindness, and then there's something that I would describe as the core of kindness, something that goes so far above. Nicole and Brian's wedding is scheduled for July, and Jen and Dave's wedding is scheduled for October. And Charles knew, he knew certainly a couple of weeks ago, that he would not make it to either of these dates. So this past Sunday, the girls and their beloveds all joined together with Charles and Marge and 16 people total, and there was a double wedding. Every vendor in town, as your dad said, it's rare when there's more vendors at an event than invited guests. But every vendor in town, caterers, photographers, videographers, the musician, the officiant, even down to the linens, this was a community effort and a show of kindness and love that I don't even have words to describe. Marge, you watched as your husband walked the brides down the aisle. Really, it was your sister-in-law, Jossie, who pushed his wheelchair as he escorted the brides. And Charles was filled with such joy. This is the true meaning of family. And Gary, you spoke of your brother-in-law by saying that he was also for you a great role model. And Gary, I think you speak for almost everyone when you said that anybody who knew Charles, they knew that he was a mensch. The way you described him, the word that came to my mind was mensch. He was truly, as we would say in Yiddish, a gute neshama, a good soul. Recently, Charles was the recipient of the Mayfield City Schools Citizen of the Year Award. He was the very first recipient of this award who was not a resident or an alum of Mayfield and its schools. The award was presented to Charles this past September for his outstanding work as the president of the Mayfield Alliance, helping to start the Green Tie Gala and in donating numerous hours to promote and help Mayfield City Schools. We know that Charles worked at Landerhaven. He was there from 1978 till 1988. After a few years in Pittsburgh, he and the family returned to Cleveland, and he returned to Landerhaven, where he worked there from 2001 until 2017. Charles, for those of us who frequent Landerhaven, we hope for happy events. He was that good-looking, very charming gentleman who greeted you as you were entering the party. Whether it was for a wedding, a community event, sometimes even a Shiva gathering, he was always there with a kind word and a warm smile. Charles loved his family's annual trips to Aruba, which, by the way, the family had just this past October. And Charles felt so good and so strong that when they all snorkeled out, he managed to get aboard this pirate ship and do a backflip off of it. That was just this past October. He loved these trips. He loved the game of tennis. He loved dining out with you, Marge, and all of your friends. He adored his family, and his family absolutely adored him. As I close with my remarks, I call to mind the words of the poet Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said the following about what it means to have succeeded in life. Emerson wrote, "To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics, and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden path, or a redeemed social condition. To know that even one life has breathed easier because you lived. This is to have succeeded." Charles Klass truly succeeded. Our tradition teaches us that words which come from our heart enter directly to the heart. There are two who have words from their hearts to share with us today. First, I want to call on his daughter, Jen.
Hello, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jen, and Charles was like a father to me. He asked me to stand before you today and say a few words. Although it is very difficult to articulate the type of man that Charles was and what he meant to me, I consider this an incredible honor. I have been lucky enough to have been taken in by Charles, to have learned from him, and to have been loved by him. I learned generosity, kindness, and the true meaning of unconditional love. He taught me the importance of always finding the positive and to let go of the negative, that a sense of humor will take you far, and that laughter is always the best medicine. Charles had a genuine love for life and people. He was so full of energy. He lived each day to the fullest and always left others with kind and loving words. Whether it was his professional life, his volunteer work, or his family life, he excelled at everything he did. He was confident, yet humble. He was a true example of what a father and husband should be. He was our protector and our confidant. He was an inspiration to me and his whole family. Nicole and I have both said, if we were to become half the person he was, we would be entirely grateful. He was just the type of person that made this world a better place to be. We are going to miss the leader of our team, the strength in our pack, the man that always had our backs no matter what. A huge part of our hearts went with Charles the day he left this earth. My world was better because of him and will be forever changed without him. It is obvious looking out on everyone here today that Charles touched so many lives. And it is such a healing gift to be surrounded by your love for him. On behalf of his whole family, we are very grateful. Thank you.
I'd also like to call on Dr. Roy Bushinsky, who is a very dear friend of the family.
Firstly, to Cantor Kathy Sabo, to the family, friends, thank you so much for the most beautiful, poignant words that you said today. And I just want to again reiterate what Jen just said, to thank everyone that's here today, those that are watching it via the World Wide Web overseas and all around the world. We thank you for being here both in person as well as remote. Now I'd like to read a poem, or part of a poem, by Charles's favorite poet by the name of Rudyard Kipling. And the poem goes, the title of the poem is called If. And whilst I won't read the whole poem, I do want to illustrate a couple of lines that I think you will find are very fitting to the man whose life we are remembering as well as celebrating. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and, which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Charles was a gem of a person, a man whose surname is so fitting as he was the epitome of class and elegance. He was, as Cantor Kathy said, a true mensch, a true gentleman, loved and beloved by everyone that met him. Whether you were his family, or friends, or colleagues, or a client, or a stranger, or even one of his fierce tennis opponents, he would treat you with the utmost respect, fairness, and charm. He would flash you that signature Charles Klass smile that would light up the night and lift up your mood. He would remind me that a smile is the most important accessory that you can wear every day. And boy, did he wear that smile every day of his life. Charles's goal in life was to make everyone else's life better and more meaningful. He put the me in meaningful, and he put the we in wedding. He was a devoted husband and father, and he would do pretty much anything and everything for Marge, Nicole, Jen, and the rest of the gang, no matter how high he had to jump. His work family at Executive Caterers told me what a pleasure and privilege it was to work with him over the almost 2 decades. His unique sense of humor, sexy South African accent, striking good looks, and calm temperament were some of the characteristics that he possessed in spades. It is clear by reading many of the social media messages from around the world that Charles touched many people's lives from all walks of life. He treated everyone with the same unfailingly kindness, compassion, and respect. One person wrote, and I am editing it for good reason, "It amazed me how calm he was in moments of utter chaos. A true tribute to his calm demeanor and leadership skills at work." Charles was more than a patient to me. He was my friend, my mentor, my big brother that I never had, my tennis partner, and sometimes my fierce tennis rival. He enjoyed playing tennis at any opportunity in any weather conditions. He was renowned for running down every shot, no matter how far out of reach it was. His attitude was that until the ball bounced twice, it was still in play and he had a shot at winning that point. This can-do and never-quit attitude made him such a boundless competitor both on and off the tennis courts. While we shared many happy occasions together, the two highlights that I recall occurred last summer in 2017 and last Sunday, one day before he passed away. In the summer of 2017, Charles received the prestigious Mayfield City Schools Citizen of the Year Award for his unwavering support and countless hours of volunteer work for the school system. What made this accomplishment even more meaningful was the fact that he was the first non-Mayfield City resident to ever win this coveted award. His acceptance speech was classic Klass. A little self-deprecation, lots of humor and humility, and plenty of gratitude and gratefulness to everyone on the team that had made this prestigious award a reality. Keith Kelly, the school superintendent, stated at the time, and I quote, "How fortunate we are that he is the kind of executive leader who understands the importance of public education, innovation, and community partnerships no matter where you live." The second event was last Sunday when Nicole and Brian, Jen and David were married in a very moving ceremony. Lynn and I were blessed to witness this beautiful event that was put together hastily but impeccably by some of the most generous and wonderful people in the hospitality industry. Thank you to all of you for making this such a special moment in Charles's life, in keeping with his lifelong motto of Carpe Diem, seize the day. The joy and expression of love on Charles's face was priceless as he accomplished his dream of seeing his daughters get married. I would like to conclude with a quote from one of Charles's heroes, President Nelson Mandela. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we led. Charles Klass, you have enriched everyone that was privileged to have met you, and you have left an indelible mark and smile on all of our lives. You have made a difference. May your memory be a blessing. Shalom, Chaver. Goodbye, my friend. Thank you.
We take a moment of silence as we offer our prayer asking God to accept Charles's soul. As you are able, I invite you to rise for the memorial prayer, El Mole Rachamim. El Mole Rachamim, shochen במרומים, המשה מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה, במלאכות קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים. את נשמת חיים לייזר, בן יעקב וחנה, שהלך לעולמו בגן עדן תהא מנוחתו. אנא ברחמים אסתירכו, בסתר כנפיך לעולמים, ותצרור בתור החיים את נשמתו. אדוני הוא נחלתו, וינוח בשלום על משכבו, ונאמר Amen. O merciful God, who dwells on high, who is full of compassion, grant perfect peace beneath the shelter of your divine presence among the holy and pure, who shine as the brightness of the firmament. To our dear departed Charles Klass, who has gone now to his eternal home, may his soul be bound up in the bonds of eternal life, and grant that his memory inspire all of us to noble and consecrated living. And to this we say, Amen. We turn now to the words of our Kaddish, and we recite together. We join together. Yitzkadal v'yitzkadash shmei Rabbah, bi'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'gala u'v'zman kariv v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ul'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei dekudesha b'richu leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran b'alma v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu b'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. We pray that God, who makes peace in a high place, will send peace and comfort to you, the mourners, to Israel, and to all humankind. Amen. Friends, let me just share two brief announcements with you. First of all, anyone wishing to make a contribution in memory of Charles, the family has suggested that you might consider either the U.S. Holocaust Museum or the Kol Israel Foundation of Cleveland. Visitation will begin immediately following this service at Landerhaven and will continue until 8 p.m. tonight. When we get to Landerhaven, we'll be making a few brief blessings, encouraging the mourners and then all who are there gathered to have a little something to eat. But later on this evening at 7:15, there will be a Ma'ariv service, and if you need any more information on that, please ask family friend Dr. Roy, and he'll fill you in on those details. On behalf of Marge and the entire family, we thank you for the outpouring of love on this sad yet important day.